Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our Friday night Smackdown review. And I gotta say, guys, we have two differing opinions on this show. Ashton told me just before we went live that he liked this show. I, however, didn't like it. Now, I want to be careful with how I talk about this here because I don't want to make it seem like I utterly despise the show. That would be too strong and hyperbolic. No, and again, I know I have a proficiency for hyperbole, but I really don't want to be mindful here. There were things that I liked. There were things, though, that I really just got a problem with, which is why we have the first segment we do, which we'll get into in a few moments. So overall, I would say this is a very weak installment of SmackDown for me. Partner, though, again, we are of differing opinions, so how did you feel about this?
I think I just generally was entertained by this episode of SmackDown. Like, there were obviously a few moments that I cringed at, and I'm not going to excuse the show for that. But there were a lot more moments that I felt genuinely happy about and entertained by throughout this show.
And that's absolutely fair, man. So let's go through it with our first segment, Heat of the Night. And I think it just only makes sense that I take the lead on this, given that I've been complaining about this show. I am going to call this, I think, ultimately a Heat of the Night. I was waffling whether it'd be more appropriate as a nitpick or what. I'm just going to own my feelings and say that it's a Heat of the Night for me. I really don't like how they set up this SmackDown chamber. Now, here's what I do like about it. Again, because I did want to say that I wanted to be mindful, right? I love that Roman Reigns isn't competing inside the chamber. Makes perfect sense as a character.
We even talked about that. I don't even know. Was that on Wednesday or was it earlier today or was it yesterday?
I think it was earlier today during the Stardom show.
Yeah.
So perfect sense. Also perfect sense, Jey Uso being in it without having to qualify. Yes. I love that too. That was great. Here's where I hate it. Why does Kevin Owens not have to qualify? Now, I'm going to be real here. Everybody knows Kevin Owens was number 1 in my top 10.
Can I ask you a question before you get further into this?
I was about to make my point, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is Kevin Owens not having to qualify and just being put in it immediately the only reason that you dislike the way that this was set up, or are there more?
No, there are others.
Okay,
there are
okay.
Others. So
I'm backing away. I'm backing away from the mic. You take over.
Thank you. I don't like that Kevin Owens didn't have to qualify because two reasons. One is a more broad point. The other is a specific point. I do agree with Foster, too. I like that there were qualifying matches. I want to be even-handed. Foster does make a great point. It's nice to see people earn their way into the chamber match. But that's not without its caveats for me. We'll get to that. The broad point is Kevin Owens is a babyface. People just getting a spot in a match like this seems like a very heel privilege. Kevin Owens' whole thing is stun the world, just keep fighting, I'm going to be the last man standing. So, like, for you to just get a spot kind of delegitimizes or illegitimizes the struggle to me, personally. So I think in a broad way, I don't like it just for any babyface, but especially for the type of babyface Kevin Owens is, makes no sense narratively. Just utterly incoherent to me. I hate it. Second reason I hate it. Why would Roman Reigns tolerate this? Roman Reigns as a character is so privileged. He's the tribal chief. Samoans are a dynasty, a mainstay in the history of pro wrestling, especially in North America, right? He has alluded to, him and Paul Heyman both, we run this shit, we pull the strings, blah, blah, blah. You know, Ashton, I think you even said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you even said it on a TWitWoW review one time. It might have even been several weeks ago. I don't even know what segment. But something about that segment, you were like, you know that Roman Reigns fears Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And you used that word, he fears Kevin Owens. So why with a man that he fears, especially when Paul Heyman went on the last Talking Smack, because I do actually care about the SmackDown product, guys. I do try and watch everything, because it is, I still think, the best product that WWE's got going. And Paul Heyman begins with, Kevin Owens, that stunt you pulled, stunning Roman Reigns when he was confronting Edge, that means no more title shots. So Paul Heyman says it, and again, I'm a Kevin Owens fan, so as a mark, of course I love that Kevin is a part of this. But, like, he should have had to earn his way in, both because of being a babyface and specifically the type of babyface that he is, and two, Roman Reigns should not fucking tolerate that at all.
Yeah.
At all. If anything, he should have said, "Oh, we'll give Kevin a chance to qualify, but it's going to be a gauntlet match, or it's going to be a handicap match against me and Jay." And then maybe he just throws it out, pulls an Atsuko Tora, and gets disqualified, which sure might have still gotten a nitpick from me, but at least it would have made fucking sense. So that was way too easy. Now, the other shit, because I really, this is the biggest heat of the night I've had in a long time, so I'm just going to go through it. I really didn't care for some of the qualifying matches, man. And again, that comes from a more kayfabe perspective. What the fuck are Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio doing this close to the Universal Championship? Like, that makes no sense to me kayfabe-wise when Dominic got crushed by King Corbin a few weeks ago, but then beat him, I think, just last week, which brings to mind Corbin. He hasn't done anything worthy of Universal Championship contention, and I feel like months even before this Dominic Mysterio feud. And Sami Zayn, that was the hardest pill to swallow because, like, beyond characters and all that discussion, you know I love Sami. You know I fucking adore Sami, but we are supposed to look at the product. As a character, he's mid-card right now. And not only that, can we talk about the fact that when he just competed for the Intercontinental Championship, he ate the pin in that triple threat match? When it was Big E, Apollo, and Sami got pinned by Big E for Big E to retain the title. So you're telling me now he's failing upwards to the Universal Championship. What fucking sense does that make? And then, not only that, he's failing upward, but the guy that has a direct connection to the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, and Shinsuke Nakamura, because remember how they fucking jumped him to screw him out of his gauntlet match? He competes for the Intercontinental title. So they've switched roles, despite the fact that Sami's been eating L's. And again, I love the character and I love the human being. He's been eating L's. And the guy that should have a tie to Roman Reigns because, hey, you know, I actually ran through all these guys, and I was really close to facing you until your cousin jacked me in the jaw with a bunch of super kicks, and you came in and you flexed yourself and hit me with a Superman punch. I'm competing for the Intercontinental title? Are you shitting me? That's so goddamn stupid. And then, honestly, like, well, actually, no. You know what? I think I'm going to put a pin in that, but I do have another nitpick here, and this is a nitpick. By the way, you don't have anything, right? Before I just continue?
No, I actually did want to. I do have a related nitpick, actually. So if you want to let me do this now, it would be great.
Oh, of course. Yeah, because I don't want to monopolize it, but yeah.
Okay, so my very much related nitpick is I hate that our qualifying matches were tag matches.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair.
I think it absolutely sucks that we got examples tonight of two guys that did not get pinned on a losing team losing their opportunity to go to the Elimination Chamber, as well as two guys who did not do any pinning, who earned their way into an Elimination Chamber despite not having to actually win a match to do it. Their partners won it for them.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that, but you make an excellent point.
I think if you're going to be in the Elimination Chamber, you have to earn your way as an individual, because the Elimination Chamber is an every man for himself type match. Only one can win. There is no tag team win in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like, oh God, I really don't, I feel like there was, again, some strong things about how this was set up, but a lot of weak things, which, by the way, too, on the Kevin Owens thing, one more point that I forgot to mention in all my rage, he actually tried to save the Rumble finish, which I don't blame him for. If anything, I give him all the credit in the world for it, by implying that, like, the referee was paid off by Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. So, like, that's another thing, too. If that's the excuse we're running with to save face, that Paul Heyman just doesn't know how to unlock handcuffs, so we know that he's vanilla as shit in the bedroom then why the fuck would they just let Kevin Owens get in this match? Again, it just makes no sense. So, then, and Mark Schoeneman saying, I hate that it's a contenders match and they face Roman in the same night. That's a waste of time to me. I actually didn't mind that, Mark. That's another thing that I will actually defend them for, because that's perfectly in line with Roman Reigns' heel character. Like, he feels like he's the island of relevancy, just getting in the ring with me is enough, and I do things on my time. I love that this dude is Brock Lesnar without actually being Brock Lesnar. I think it really works, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But, yeah, I can see why it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoyed it. Oh, Foster, I love that ending. See, again, that's the Mark in me with him stunning people, but we'll get to that. My other nitpick, and oh, God, I feel... the fucking women's division, and I don't want to make it that broad, so I am going to make it specific. I feel like the Riot Squad Billy Kay storyline needs like an update. I'm not saying to discontinue it because I actually do like these three together, and I know you do too. It needs an upgrade. And the big thing, why the fuck is Reginald still interacting with Sasha Banks? Like, do you want to know what crystallized for me tonight, Ashton? That there is, and I was going to say, and I know it's obvious to a lot of people. It's not like I'm going to say like a big revelation here. The biggest difference between the talent, or I guess just the character ability, or whatever you'd want to call it, of a Bayley or a Carmella, is that Bayley can work with undercarders and not feel a bit out of place. And I think WWE is terrified to get Carmella and like the people she's associated with out of the orbit of the top tier talents. Otherwise, they don't know what's going to happen. Because Bayley now, for the past 2 weeks, has had matches with Riot Squad, doesn't feel a bit out of place. Why? Because Bayley is such a fucking character. Yeah. She finds the value in everything. Yeah. Right? Like, even her match with Liv Morgan tonight, she leaves the ring, she looks at Billy, and she's like, I don't think they like you very much. And she's laughing on her way up the ramp. It's fucking gold. She still antagonizes Cole. I mean, dude, honestly, at this point, Bayley's such a fucking genius. And I'm saying this with a straight face. That if her match at WrestleMania was against Michael fucking Cole, I would honestly be low-key kind of hyped for that just because of how much she has antagonized his ass. Yeah. That's how fucking good she is. Bayley, you could put her in the ring with anybody. She is not going to feel out of place. When you were putting Reginald still, now maybe it's more about Reginald than Carmella, but like he's attached to her. So she's still circulating around this bullshit. Right, yeah. When you do that, it reeks of desperation to me because either the character is good enough to work with other people, in the division that may be lower or at the same level of the card that she should be at right now, or it's a flop. I'm sorry, it's a flop because a truly great character should be able to work with anybody anytime and not miss a beat. That's how you know Bayley is on top of her fucking game. She hasn't been involved with the championship for how long now? And I'm still compelled by her. I still think she's one of the top women in the fucking division. And she's still killing it. So, like, get them away from Sasha. I'm over it. I enjoyed, to an extent, the fucking Bianca-Sasha segment tonight. I could have done without the tag champions, admittedly. That seemed like kind of a waste. But, yeah, like, that just was so ridiculous to me that, oh, my God, we're still doing this. And I still don't like that Sasha's being kind of playful rather than, kind of goes back to what you had a problem with when they did it the first time. Like, this is a married woman, never is one spin portrayed as, like, a seductive character or, like, whatever. And now they're doing this. I don't like it. And, yeah, again, like I said, the Riot Squad, Billy Kay thing, I just want an update on that because either they need to have a moment where they just rip her to shreds verbally and just be like, get the fuck away from us, and then they just feel bad about what they did, and then they get back on the same page, and then they get the big win together, or, like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, because we've been doing the same stuff for weeks, and, like, it just needs an update. So, yeah. I'm sorry if I came off really negative, guys. I'd like to think my complaints are legitimate. That'll be up to you guys, but those are all the problems I had. And again, I don't want to make it seem like I hated this episode. I've tried to be as even-handed as possible. But yeah, there were some really weak points on the show, and I'm just glad I got to address it. Do you have any other nitpicks that you want to address or heats of the night?
No, actually. That was the main one. The main problem that I had with the show was the tag team match qualifiers. I really don't like that at all.
Yeah, I completely understand that, man.
I got to say, though, I absolutely loved just the visual of Sasha coming out with the Street Profits on either side of her and them all like kind of dancing together, her in fucking heels of all things. It was so cool to me. I actually really liked that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like the synergy of them. I almost wondered if, or maybe in the future, if like Montez is going to say a little something to Sasha, because him and Bianca are married. So I did find that interesting that she danced with them, knowing that her potential WrestleMania challenger is married to one of those guys. Yeah. But anyway, let us get into our Friday night Smackdown review. Again, we open with Roman Reigns and Adam Pearce. That pretty much establishes the chamber. Not going to stay stuck on that. We get a Seth Rollins vignette declaring that he's going to be returning tonight. Then we go to Pearce and Sonya. Sonya's like, I have a great idea. Let's do the tag match. Mysterios versus Corbin and Zayn is already on their way out of the ring. We get this match. Zayn cuts a pre-match promo talking about how, I'm going to have my camera crew here to watch the referee. Corbin and I, we don't even like each other most of the time, but we're on the same page tonight. Solid matchup, I guess. It's not even necessarily that the matchup was bad. Dominic at least looked better this week than his match with Corbin a little bit ago, where he just looked absolutely fucking terrible. Yeah. But I would have been so pissed, dude, if the Mysterios won, because I was genuinely afraid that was going to happen. And then we're going to make as a narrative point in the chamber match, like, oh my God, will the son turn on his father? Because you know how extra Corey Graves can be. Yeah. And, like, if you thought I was complaining before, if the Mysterios would have won this, I would have been pissed. And I can only imagine how you would have felt. But the right people...
I would have been pissed about that.
Yeah. So the right-ish people went over because I love me some Sammy. I just wish he had more credibility. And Corbin's filler, so it's what the fuck ever. They get the win. We get the segment of Rudolph kind of talking their way with, Sonya and Adam Pearce into a match. So they're like, okay, fine, you can get a shot at it. If you can beat Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, cool, whatever. Mm-hmm. We get a recap of everything with Bianca, Sasha, and Reginald, with Bianca hitting Reginald with her hair whip when he was talking shit. Then we get the whole segment of him presenting a champagne glass to Sasha, and Sasha's just like, well, just send Carmella my regards. Awkward, hated it, didn't like it. Now maybe we could take a little bit of a breather here, because holy shit. Big E and Apollo Crews. So Big E comes out, and he's talking about how he's successfully
and this defended. I loved. I thought this was great.
Dude, you know what? If you want to take the ball on this, because I know I've talked a lot, what did you like about this? Let's talk about it.
I mean, I love that they almost made it feel like a shoot without it actually being a shoot, because obviously it was in the script. But, like, the way that, like, Apollo comes out and he's all playful and he's just like, I know what you're going to do. You're going to have an open challenge and I'm your man. And Big E's just like, yeah, I was going to do an open challenge to anyone but you. And then Apollo was just like, what, I thought you wanted to be a fighting champion, man. Come on. And, like, Apollo's really antagonizing Big E at this point. And Big E, it was so subtle, but I love the way that he put the mic down so that we couldn't necessarily hear everything he was saying, but we could still, like, if we strained and, like, lip read and stuff like that, we could still tell what he was saying. And he basically just kind of does that, like, come on, man, I got to move past you. I've already beaten you a couple times. Like, I got to give other people a chance here. And then Nakamura's music hits because, Big E's just like, I want to know who my real opponent is tonight, bring him out. Nakamura's music hits, and we get about 5 minutes, if that, of a Nakamura versus Big E match before Apollo comes in. And who did he drop kick? I forget. I know he drop kicked.
He did drop kick Big E.
Okay.
He did drop kick Big E. He didn't even touch Shinsuke.
Is this like the official, like, Apollo's heel now? Kind of for like it's set in stone. Apollo's the heel now.
I would think so, man. That's how I read the situation.
This was the official turn. Like, they've been teasing it, slow burning it for a long time, but this was the real thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's exactly how I read the situation.
Yeah, and I love it because I've been hoping for Apollo to turn heel for a little while now, and I guess the downside is that probably means that we are legitimately just going to keep getting Apollo versus Big E matches. I think that might be the biggest problem for SmackDown right now is how repetitive some of their title scenes are.
Yes.
We've gotten Roman versus Kevin for months. We're getting Sasha versus Carmella still after months of it. Now we're going to be getting Apollo versus Big E, and it feels like we've been getting that for months. So maybe it's just because they have sort of a limited roster, but there are obviously other people that could be doing things. Low key though, like as much of a problem as you and I both have with Carmella continuously getting title shots at Sasha, and I don't even know if it's that much of a problem considering how good their matches are, but it's a little bit tired and repetitive to have Apollo keep getting these shots at Big E. I fucking love, and I know that this is kind of responding almost to one of your heats of the night, I fucking love that Kevin Owens is still in the title picture. Like, don't get me wrong, I fully agree with where you're coming from as far as, like, Roman and Paul Heyman shouldn't be putting up with that fact. They shouldn't be just standing idly by while Kevin keeps getting shots. They should be fighting it every step of the way. And leading up to the Rumble, they did. So I'm wondering if maybe they'll do something on next week's episode of SmackDown to, again, continue fighting Kevin being in the chamber. Or
that is a fair point, yeah.
Or maybe if they'll even wait for the chamber itself and beat him down and be like, oh, I guess there's only 5 people in the chamber and we'll get like a surprise participant in the chamber or something like that. So that's kind of stuff that I'm wondering about. But at the same time, I love that he is still doing this. And we'll talk about much later. The final image of SmackDown, I had goosebumps about. I fucking loved it. So I'll hand the ball back to you now if you want to continue on what you were talking, kind of the rundown of the show. But I loved the Apollo Big E interaction, and I'm absolutely loving the fact that Kevin is still fighting to try and win that world title, the Universal title.
I'm just going to respond to your point because you know what, we're not even at like 20 minutes into this review here according to our timer, so I'm just going to take a little breath and respond to what you said. For one, obviously, I don't even care if it's hypocritical of me. I love that Kevin's still in the picture too. Like, I'm loving his work right now. Babyface Kevin is amazing. I love the closing segment of SmackDown. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. Again, I do think it's a narrative misstep to not have him qualified, but you do make a great point. You do make a great point on the SmackDown Go Home show. They could really make it, build dramatic tension of, oh, is Kevin really going to Elimination Chamber? Because, Roman and Paul did some shit. That's an excellent point by you. So I think even then I can maybe kind of downgrade it to a nitpick, and we'll see what they do next week. That's the magic of television. So I do agree with you. And I think I agree with you ultimately because he does say he's going to be the last man standing. He does say he's going to keep fighting. So it doesn't really make sense when you've come up with kayfabe reasons why you've lost to Roman at every turn, including Rumble, paid off the referee now, that you would just go away. So I do like that he keeps coming from him, if for no other reason, because, again, it makes complete narrative sense for the character. As far as Big E and Apollo, I love it too, dude. I was even going to say it's funny because for as much of a mess as setting up this chamber was, at least in my opinion, the IC title, even though I do think Big E is kind of above this, like, I got to give Big E credit. He's making sure that he's not an irrelevant mid-card champion because, man, his talking and his presence as champion, like, I once said, and I know Javaris loved this, so I hope I'm not overstepping here, Javaris. I'm going to trust you to rein me in, bud. This dude really does. I say again, he has such Uncle Phil energy to me, where, like, he just makes that face where it's like the time for laughing is over, and seriously, don't shut the fuck up if you don't get out of my ring. Like, it's going to happen. Things are going to happen. Now you're going to decide if they happen or not. And Apollo's just like, oh, what you going to do? But it's the same way with Sammy. When Sammy tried doing stuff, and then Big E just punched him in the fucking ribs, and it was like a gunshot wound. Sammy was in so much agony. Like, Big E's just got that presence, man, where, like, I can laugh with you. I can joke with you. I mean, I know he's got the nickname that Cole's trying to get over, which probably means Vince is trying to get over. The powerhouse of positivity, which, to be honest, I don't hate it. But, like, emphasis on powerhouse, baby. Because the moment he gets that look on his face, like, I'm tired.
You fucked up.
I've indulged you. You fucked up. Exactly. You fucked up. You're in the back of the line now. Now I want my new challenger. I love that. But you know what, too? I love Apollo's fire. And see, though, like, I'm going to be honest, though, about how I feel. I love it, but this is almost why I wish he would have been in Hurt Business and that they would have done the turn on Raw when they still had MVP, because even though I like Apollo as a talker, I could see him becoming very limited very quickly, but I like the arrogance and I like the brashness because the dude's a great athlete. Dude's great in ring. I still feel like ultimately, though, long term, it would have been better to have somebody talk for him.
Yeah.
But I love the energy of this competition, man. I agree with you 100%. Mid-card has been very entertaining to watch. I would even go with how I felt about SmackDown. I would say this is one of the high points of the show. I really enjoyed what these two did. Like you said, getting back...
With the downside really being that they brought Nakamura back into the IC title picture when I feel like he really should. And this is, like, probably the biggest point that I agree with you on as far as your heat of the night goes. It's really, really unfortunate that they are not giving Nakamura a spot in the chamber to me.
Dude, yeah, and I already went through my reasons why. I don't want to be redundant and get revved up again, but yeah. I
always have to wonder, like, if Roman would take out Owens, I would be hoping that Nakamura would take his place.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. So you already kind of mentioned Big E Nakamura was just like 5 minutes of pretty much nothing, so I'm not even going to really talk about that. Let's talk about the other big thing on this show. Seth Rollins has returned. How did you feel about this, man? I'm really curious how you felt about this, given that you were more positive on the show than me.
I actually really liked this segment. So, first of all, Rollins comes out to absolutely ridiculous ovation. Like, the crowd, you would have thought this was fucking Hulk Hogan returning in Alabama or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, this dude, like... It's like people completely forgot about anything that he might have done heelish, and they're just happy to see him back. Like they're just happy to see this performer back, I think. And I don't really blame him for that. That makes sense. He's a great performer, no doubt. But at the end of the day, he says I'm a changed man to get everyone hopes up that maybe he's a face now, and then he says I have a vision, and he goes on his bullshit, and everyone knows, oh, it's still him. He's just a little more delusional now somehow. So everyone leaves, and I loved this too because this has such good energy compared to what I'm used to. Everyone just bails. They're just like, I thought this was going to be important. All right, I'm out. Fuck this. Everyone just walks away. Like, everyone's at ringside, and then they just aren't. They just bail. They just don't care what he has to say anymore. But Cesaro's still around. And Seth, I even said in the chat, like, in the Discord, I was like, oh, Cesaro's here for the show. Like, he's just here to watch the train wreck. And then he tries to walk out on Seth, and Seth attacks him from behind, and he beats him down. And then Daniel Bryan comes out to save him because he knows that he's teaming with him later. Plus, they're just good friends, I would imagine. So I quite enjoyed this segment. Yes, I did.
I'm gonna be honest. I obviously have problems, right? That's not really saying much. I thought this was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, right. See, it's not just me. I'm glad.
Because, like, you know, we knew he was, and I say we because you're a smart guy, and I'm assuming you knew exactly as I did. Like, he was gonna do a heel promo. Yeah. Because here's the thing too. Even when he came back at Royal Rumble, which I don't even know if WWE did this intentionally. I like how he attacked the tag partner of the guy that he eliminated in Rumble, because Rollins eliminated Bryan in the Royal Rumble, and so I don't even know if that was intentional. But I did like that. Like, oh, he eliminates Bryan from the Rumble. Now he's kind of hinders chances to go to Chamber because it's tag matches. And, you know, like you said, that we've had guys get the winning pinfall and the other guy just coasts on that person's efforts and, you know, whatever. But I thought that was a nice touch. Seth's such a great douche. I don't know if it's because of his real life experiences of, like, you know, dating Nazis and shit. But when he's like, because you could tell he was one of those guys that was like, he was thinking of the promo all day. Like, you know, man, what's my clothes? What's my I got it. And then he says it like, you know, if you want a better future, you just gotta embrace the vision. And the smile. You can't even tell me that smile wasn't at least... Yes. You can't tell me that smile wasn't at least 10% shoot because he was so proud of it. Like, this dude, he, like, I'm telling you, he could bottle smug and fucking sell it, baby. It's beautiful. And then, you know, I really am in a weird mood. It's obvious because for anybody that's like, oh, Cesaro doesn't have any charisma or whatever, I died when I saw his face still standing there.
Yes.
Because he's looking at this and he's just like, this fucking guy, what the hell? And he's just looking at him like, bro, are you serious? Like, you're really serious right now. And Seth,
you fries short of a Happy Meal there, buddy.
Oh my God, yeah. And Seth's looking at it, and they're completely on two completely different wavelengths of understanding. I mean, that needs to be stressed. Because he, and like perfect aloof father energy. He's like, yes, Cesaro, I knew you'd understand when, bruh, look at the face. Look, the same way you're like, look at the chart. Look at the face. He is not amused right now. Well, he is amused. I
mean, dude, let's be real. Seth's about as good at reading faces as he is at reading rooms at this point.
Yeah, oh, that's so true. I'm gonna drop this tweet about how much money I make. I'm such a baby face.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you got the reference. Yes.
Oh my god, I needed this. My endorphins are going crazy right now. So Seth's just like, oh, Cesaro, I knew you'd understand. And Cesaro's just like, bro, understand. I mean, I speak 7 languages. I don't even know what the fuck your problem is right now. He's just walking out. He's over it. And then Seth does that classic heel move. Nobody ignores me. How about you try ignoring your lack of mobility? Shot block. And, you know, he's like, you'll never reach your potential without me. So let's, and by, I was going to say let us, but let's be honest, let me dial it back, and I want to ask you, what are we, and I'm not even saying this is a criticism, I genuinely want to talk about it. What are we supposed to think of the Cesaro character? Because at first, I thought he was going to turn heel on Shinsuke. Then he does the fist bump with Bryan after making him tap out, so I'm thinking babyface, and they do seem to be leaning in that direction. Can we comfortably say that Cesaro's a babyface?
I think so, yeah. At this point, yeah, I think we can.
Yeah. Sorry, just reading Javaris' comments. So, I will say then, acting on that knowledge, it's really great to have babyface Cesaro back. I'm not going to lie, because I think my favorite Cesaro was the one that had a really strong Cesaro section and even acknowledged it in interviews.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. I really do think, despite being a foreigner, I know, that just seems like, ready-made heel, he is better as a babyface. Because, he's not the best promo. Although I do think, like tonight, he could be unintentionally funny sometimes.
I don't think there was anything unintentional about his humor tonight. I think he's just genuinely good at awkward humor.
Yeah. But see, again, the awkward humor I find to be a more endearing branch of humor, which, again, leads me to think he's just better as a babyface to me. Yeah. And he's so entertaining in the ring, I ain't gonna boo this, man. What the fuck's wrong with you? So, True. Brian's checking on him. It's whatever. Seth got very angry. Yeah. I'm glad we both enjoyed this, though, man. And you made me enjoy it a second time. God, that felt really good. That was, wow. Holy shit. So we get an Elimination Chamber video package. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had to get Rice at this point. So it was pretty much, I guess, just talking about the rules of the chamber. And I'm sure stats and all that stuff. So then we get Bayley versus Liv Morgan. I already talked about that. I didn't,
Yeah, Bayley, actually, I forgot about this in my heat of the night. I would have given this a nitpick. I really hate that they just keep on making Billie Kay's character more of a pain in the ass than she is entertaining.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I want entertaining Billie Kay. I don't want pain in the ass. You're ruining everything, Billie Kay, and that's what they're trying to make her, and I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with you, especially if this is going to have a worthwhile payoff. Yeah. You need to start having Billie Kay just be Billie Kay and, maybe not screw everything up. And because it really makes it seem like, her character is she's incompetent. But, she's absolutely. So much more than that. So, I don't know. So we get Bayley versus Liv. Not a bad match. I love Liv. And, I think her and Bayley did some great stuff. I really just feel bad for her and Ruby because they're both such solid in-ring workers that I think could be doing so much more than what they're doing. But, her and Bayley, I think, killed it for the time that they were given, which really wasn't even that much, but whatever. Bayley wins after an eye rake and the rose plant, and she gets the win. So Bayley, again, keeping her momentum hot. I really do love how they're booking Bayley. She's out of the title picture, but she's not losing everything. I think she loses the matches that matter in the sense of, how am I as a heel going to build other people as per the Bianca program recently. Now they're going to build Bayley back up a little bit, and then the next person that comes along, even if it's a champion, Bayley will be ready, nice and hot to, do the program. So I really think, of all the acts that they're really getting right on SmackDown, I think Bayley, for me, is in the top 3. So, good stuff there. Cesaro Bryan interview, more or less just saying, I'm going to be good to go tonight. Seth thinks he can cost me my chances. He's wrong. I know Bryan said a little something, but I honestly didn't catch what he said. Then we get Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. What did you think about this, Ashton? Because I really got nothing to say about this.
I fucking love Chad Gable. Oh, my God.
He's so good, isn't he?
He is, dude. He can make anything work. This is a dude that his gimmick was a towel in NXT, and then American Alpha was an amazing actual just in-ring performing tag team, just straight up amazing together. And then he had an entertaining tag team with Bobby Roode, which is unprecedented unless you're James Storm, I guess. But even then, I wasn't a big fan of Beer Money, personally. And then, here he is, teaming with Otis again, thrown together in a tag team with someone that he has no real history with, and he's making it work. I love it. It's so good. I love Alpha Academy. They're so fun. This is one of the highlights of the show to me was them practicing the German suplex discus lariat team move. And then, this was just so good. I love them. I really do. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's funny because all the positivity you just brought, I don't disagree with it. And I can't even say that this was a nothing match because obviously in kayfabe it's like, oh, you know, a win could really put them in title contention. This just felt like this was a match really meant to pad out time. And it did that well, I would say. I mean, Chad Gable, watching him work the mat, if anything, I wanted him and Dawkins to do more like mat-based stuff together because we know Dawkins is an amateur wrestler. And it really just seemed like Gable handled him pretty readily. Now, I mean, granted, he is an Olympian. I'm not trying to say that Gable can't do that. I just thought that we'd get a bit more back and forth on the mat there. But yeah, Street Profits get the win after the Anointment Spinebuster from Dawkins and the Frog Splash from Ford. But yeah, great stuff. And Gable and Otis both. I mean, I was even thinking about Otis recently, like a few days ago. And I'm sorry, of course, I'm always going to be biased because it's like my headcanon. I still feel like they really missed the opportunity giving Otis a big rub, having him interact with Roman for at least like a one-off title match. Even if you didn't want to put it on a pay-per-view, like just the idea that one guy who is just the embodiment of privilege, head of the table, tribal chief, against a guy that who the opening of his theme song literally is blue collar working man. I just think Otis is exactly. I really do see a lot in Otis even now, and I still see a lot in Gable. This is a rare case to me, bro, where I look at this tag team and I see 2 stars and not just one. So it remains to be seen how WWE feels about that.
in very different ways, but still, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking Street Profits get the win. After that, we get a Sasha Banks promo trying to hype up the match with Bianca. Bianca says, Sasha, I see you. And, almost like, again, teasing that, yeah, maybe I will come for you. Then we get the tag champions interrupting. And really, this just amounts to them getting to laugh at Nia for losing a tables match to Lana, but not before missing a leg drop and going,
my hole!
My hole. I'm only laughing this hard because I only knew about this because you and I know about a Raw every week. James sent me that isolated clip, and he's like thinking about when we first met, and sends that clip. So, of course, I know, of course. And then they make the tag team champions scramble. I almost have to wonder because Sasha's not booked for Chamber yet, right?
I don't think so, no.
I almost have to wonder, bro, if we're going to do Sasha Bianca versus Shayna and Nia at Chamber for the tag titles.
That would be interesting for sure. Like, low-key, I would not mind Sasha and Bianca winning the titles, even if it was only for a one-off against the women's tag Dusty Classic winner.
Yeah, that's a great point, man, because we do have to think about the women's Dusty Classic and, yeah.
Let me rephrase that. Let me put it this way, actually. If Raquel and Dakota win, I want them versus Shayna and Nia just because of the matchup. Because we know Dakota and Shayna have history, and then Raquel and Nia can do power shit to each other and maybe injure each other. I don't fucking know.
Jesus, yeah.
If Shotzi and Ember win, though, I would fucking love them versus Sasha and Bianca.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Absolutely.
So my preference, like if that match happens, my preference for which team wins that match will vary, and it will depend on who wins the Women's Dusty Classic.
All right, that makes perfect sense, man. And guys, if you want us to talk more about the Women's Dusty Classic, join us tomorrow at 9 as we preview NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. So we'll be talking about that after
exactly.
that. Yeah, that's right, Foster. Look at Foster promoting our stuff in the chat correctly. I know he had that question mark like he was doubting himself. You were correct, and you were beautiful doing it. God, I love you so much. So
nothing new about that. It's Alex Foster.
Obviously. So this has been a nice energy tonight. Main event tag match. We get Rudolph versus Bryan and Cesaro. God. I care in the sense that it's Bryan and Cesaro, but I'm going to be honest with you again, bro. Like, I was kind of half checked out on this match just because, like, I really don't care about Rudolph. Like,
same. Yep. Dude, the most that I cared about this match was just making sure that Rudolph didn't fucking win because of the fact that Cesaro had a bum leg.
Exactly. And, dude, I will say, man, WWE again showing, which mid-card guy can we really turn the heat up on and just say fuck all of you? Because they've made Cesaro look so good. He won again, and he made Dolph tap out. And the idea that he's doing it with the sharpshooter when him and TJ are best friends. Oh, God. So, yeah, I squeaked a little, want to fight about it. But, yeah, I mean, Cesaro's looking great. Cesaro's looking absolutely awesome heading into this. And I got to tell you, bro, as much as I adore Kevin Owens, and right now, most immediately, he is my pick to be number one contender, winning the chamber and then getting the title shot later in the night. I would not be displeased at all, dude, if they swerved right on us and they fucking went Cesaro. I really wouldn't be. And then maybe Seth costs him that match or something. I don't know. I would be absolutely fucking fine with it. I think he has been white hot. I'd love to see him in that position, especially because you know what? There aren't crowds anyway, and God knows when there are going to be like full crowds again. I think they are going to try somewhat capacity for WrestleMania. Yeah. You know, why not let it ride? It's the fucking pandemic era. Let it fucking ride. So I think even though I adore Kevin, Cesaro might even be my emotional pick for this, just because I think too. I don't know.
Honestly, though, dude, I think the reason that I'm rooting for Owens over everyone is because if Owens gets another shot at Roman at WrestleMania, he's winning the fucking thing.
Oh, he is. Oh my God, he is.
And absolutely. What a WrestleMania moment that would be after like 4 months of chase. He 5 months of chase. He finally wins it. Like, holy shit. That's so
I think that's the only
and then they can even move Roman over to Raw and have him feud with Drew for all I care. That would be amazing too.
That would be, especially after how they interacted and stuff with Survivor Series.
Exactly, you don't need Roman to be the permanent Universal Champion, and having him put over Owens in that huge of a way. I mean, hell, we know how great Owens is and how versatile he is. He can have one of those reigns, too, where he starts as a babyface and the title corrupts him and he turns heel in 5 or 6 months down the line. It doesn't even have to be that long. I'm just saying, like, that would be such a great way to really make Owens a star, and not just, like, a superstar, which everyone calls themselves, but an actual real fucking star, like a money draw, you know?
Dude, I agree. Like, everything you just said, all I have to say in response is, that is the only viable and legitimate reason to have a program go as long as they've had Owens and Roman go.
Pretty much.
Is when you do ultimately plan for the babyface not to pad out the title reign, but to upend it and become the star in their own right. Yep. So, yeah, Cesaro or KO, man. Let's fucking do it. And then KO, God, I am going to go back and I'm going to watch that ending segment.
Which was so good.
Which, just to talk about it, Cesaro gets the win after making Dolph tap out like a bitch.
And mid-match, too, Zayn and Corbin come out to ringside. And it looks like they're going to try and, like, screw Cesaro and Bryan, but they didn't. They waited until after the match was over, and then they jumped them.
Exactly. So everybody's kind of brawling. Zayn even turns on Corbin at one point. And I will say, too, it's funny because, like, obviously Kevin Owens isn't Stone Cold. He has borrowed some stuff from Stone Cold while still maintaining the core of his identity as Kevin Owens. So I
can't wait till we get proper crowds back. I would love to hear the kind of pop that Owens would be getting right now when his music hits during shit like this.
Well, dude, because I was even going to ask you, didn't this, like, if you took this from, like, an Attitude Era segment where Stone Cold would come out and do exactly what Owens did, like, it really did have that Stone Cold energy without being contrived. Because the music just hits, he walks with purpose to the ring. He fucking lays out everybody with stunners. Everyone. And then, oh my God. See, and this is what, Kevin, I can't quit you. That's why you're number one in my top 10. And that's why.
So sweet sounding.
And then, like, I know, I'm just looking out for you when I say you should qualify, but, like, do what you want. You deserve it. Because, like, he looks at the camera and he's like, are you watching? And then I love the little added bit, because he said, you're doing community theater as a mob boss. This was real mob boss shit. He gets a chair, he unfolds it, he sits in the middle of the ring, and he looks right at the camera. He says, are you watching, Roman? Because I'm coming for you. We're not done, and I'm not going away. Huh? Oh my God. For the fathers, damn it. Yes. And before anybody's like, well, John, actually, Roman's a father. I know. I still say things. I lie a lot, and I'm illogical when I do it. Deal with it. But yeah, I'm loving the fucking energy here. And that's the thing, man, because, like, you know what? Let's just, okay. I know we never want to give the game away for preview and predictions, but I do just want to talk about one thing with you, if you would just indulge me.
I am indulging you. Indulge your face off, sir.
Oh my God, yes!
Keep it intact, though, seriously.
But no promises. We did just talk about Kevin winning. What's so fucking brilliant about this, too, is that if Kevin does potentially win the Chamber, they're still protecting him because he's getting the title shot the same night. And especially if he starts the Chamber match first and he takes like some gnarly bumps, like if Jey Uso particularly is like really zoned in on him, fucking him up, because you know he's going to want him to be because he fears Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens being in this was what made Roman confront Adam Pearce. That's worth noting. That's where, like, he heard Kevin Owens' name. He got up in Adam Pearce's face. He wanted to lose it. It took Paul Heyman saying to him a few times, just my opinion, I don't think you should play this card right now. I don't think you should show your hand right now. And Kevin Owens did that to him. So, again, if you want to salvage this, you really should have Kevin start the match. Jey Uso zone in on him particularly because, you know, he's always going to do Roman's dirty work. Yeah. And then he's not going to be 100%. But regardless how they play it, in our minds, he's not going to be 100%. So even if Roman beats him, it'll be clean-ish. But, like, could you have done it if it was Kevin 100%? And, like, I just, oh, God. How much of an asshole do I feel like? Well, obviously, yeah, 100%. So let's do it. I am happy for Edge, and I don't want to take this away from Edge, but, like, I'm so engrossed by Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, like, I don't want Edge to pick Roman. I don't. I honestly, again,
I really want Edge to pick Finn, assuming Finn keeps it until then. I really do. I really hope we get Edge Finn.
Yeah. I would too, because, dude, I feel like you could tell such a great story with that. I'm just having a lot of fun on this episode tonight, so fuck it, I'll indulge myself again. I feel like Edge being 47, being NXT champion, it'd be endearing at first, but you can make a heel run out of it so nicely.
Oh, and my God, yeah.
I think Edge should have a heel run before he fully retires. And I think on NXT it would be the perfect run because NXT, right, the whole thing is next, the future, this and that. And you've got a guy from the fucking Attitude Era as NXT champion. Mm-hmm. Like, it writes itself.
Slap in the face, like, right?
Exactly, dude. So, like, I agree with you 100%. He should pick Finn. Drew, honestly, I was hearing rumors at one point of Keith Lee and Brock Lesnar. He should just get Keith, or, and I should bring this name up, he should get fucking Ali, because his promos recently have been fucking fire. And I wish they'd find a way to get him involved in the WWE title picture, because I would legit pop if we were talking about Ali versus Drew on the card for WrestleMania.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
So Ali or Keith for Drew, and then Roman and Kevin finish it. Now, I know some people on Twitter have apparently gotten tired of this feud because it's like, when is Kevin going away? But you know what? I'm not going to worry about them because I'm enjoying it. And they're entitled to their opinion, but I'm fucking loving it. So I want this again, and I want Kevin to win the title at Mania. That's honestly, because yeah, that's what I'm feeling. So I don't think it'll happen that way. I do think Edge is going to pick Roman, but honestly, damn, Edge, really? Like, if
I mean, dude, realistically, would we really be surprised if Edge picked Roman and Owens earned contendership also, and we got a triple threat between those three guys?
That is possible, but
would that be the worst thing in the world?
It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I don't think WWE would do it though, because I guarantee you, when Kevin and Roman finish their business, if they finish their business, I don't even know anymore. I thought they would have done their business at Rumble. I honestly didn't even expect this to happen. I really feel like the story is going to be, this is my comeback. I fought 9 years for this. I never even lost a title, and you're in my way from getting it back. So it really would be like a Rocky Balboa, Cinderella-like-esque story for Edge. And I think they want to go, dude, you know how WWE is with their promotional stuff. They're going to want to go balls deep in that shit. Like, I'm fully expecting Edge to get his own Chronicle, 24 all that's like, they're going to do the whole thing. Yeah. Foster, I am so sorry. I want you to know that I'm giving you hugs, like, through the screen right now. I did not mean to do that. I am so sorry. I just feel like it's a great idea because he deserves it. But Edge, it's going to be the whole comeback story. Like, can he do it one more time, win the title? But, like, wouldn't you rather be a douche? Wouldn't you rather just be like, you know, I could go after Roman, but, man, this NXT thing, I mean, you guys did get me to come out of retirement. What if you got me to take the championship? And then Balor's like, well, that's not happening. The bam, spear. I guess it is. And then, you know, he just goes on a heel run. I don't think that'd be the worst thing.
Your Edge impression there was unintentionally damn good.
Thank you, sir. I just, because I don't want to hate Edge, man. I don't want to come on here and rain on the man's parade.
Wait, don't you do want to hate Edge because he's the NXT champion, or?
Well, I mean, in that case, yes, but I mean, just with his Rumble win and just speaking generally, like, okay. I don't want to hate on the dude.
Gotcha.
You know,
just making sure we're on the same page here.
Oh, of course, no, I appreciate it. You should check in, guy. Yeah, no, that makes all the sense in the world. But, like, I don't want to hate on the man, dude. I don't. He worked hard for this, and I can only imagine what it was like having to forcibly retire. So I don't want to be that dick, but like, don't do this, man. Like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this, man? Like
the John Cena meme. Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Are you sure about that? You know, because like after every promo, you know, I'll shed a tear and I'll say, keeping that same energy, fine speech. But you know, like, you don't want to do this, man. You want
You kept that same energy.
You want to go for the NXT title. You want to beat Finn Balor. You want to be the Rated R superstar with the R standing for really like stressing it in the
Retired.
word boomer and retired, boomer and retired. And you just want to say fuck NXT. So yeah. Yeah, that should be what happens.
Imagine if Edge, the Rated R superstar, the biggest money draw of the 21st century WWE, came out of retirement to work developmental.
Yeah. And it's just like, so did I pop the ratings? Yeah, we went from 520,000 this week to 550,000 this week. Oh. Fuck, this is demoralizing. Why'd I come back? But that is to bring it all.
Those are some pretty Bush League numbers there, fam.
Oh, God. You know, when you body things with facts, it gets me all excited.
God.
But
What did I do?
You don't even understand.
I don't like it here.
But Ashton's discomfort aside,
don't put it aside, acknowledge it.
No, we're not going to. Deal with it privately on your own time. Oh my God, you had such Lola energy there. Oh, like a dump truck.
Glug, glug.
It was the ultimate betrayal. Oh God, what is wrong with us right now?
What isn't wrong with us right now?
Dude, Dude, you take it over. You ask such great fucking questions. What am I doing here? Take it, brother.
What is there to take? We still have to do high shots and low shots, man.
God damn it, man. This is supposed to be your time. All right. So I guess high spots, low shots, since this guy, you know, was feeling Barbara Walters for all of 2 seconds, and I was like, no, not me, couldn't be me. So low shot, I guess, Dominic Mysterio for sucking.
Fuck him.
That's the energy, friend.
Can I piggyback on your low shot?
We can piggyback together anytime you want.
My low shot is the old dogs, because again, fuck them.
Yeah. Keep that fucking energy. And you know what my high spot is? Fucking Kevin Owens. What? First of all, didn't even have to qualify for the chamber. He's coming in.
I like how you go from that being a heat of the night to that being a trash talking point.
Dude, I'm complex, and I lie a lot. So that happened. And then he ended the show stunning everybody, including me, with how fucking amazing he looked doing it. So, yeah, he's obviously the high spot. Who's your high spot?
Oh, God, I didn't think you'd put me on the spot like this. My high spot is Cesaro, because he stood out in the Seth Rollins segment, and he won the qualification for his team.
Yeah, that's right. He did do that. We were there. We saw it, and it was fucking amazing. So yeah, I guess with that said, that was Smackdown. That was TWitWoW. The best. Bring it down.
Damn, Jesus.
Wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today.
Do you have to
I'm John.
seduce us while you're at it?
Yeah. Is it working? We all feeling good. Ooh. All right. Be sure to leave a like-ish file out. I saw 3 people leave dislikes, and I'm not gonna lie. Don't let the tone fool you. My feelings, they're hurt. My eyes are gonna well up tonight when I'm trying to go to sleep, and the tears aren't gonna come out, but my pain will. My pain will. So please offset that so that I can sleep tonight and leave a like. I don't like too that it came out to exactly 7, which is how many people are watching right now. So that's a bit concerning. But yeah, click the bell icon, subscribe, so you never again miss out on that TWitWoW goodness. I'd like to know how many of you actually do click that bell. I'm assuming it's some of you. I'm hoping it's some of you. Be sure to check out
Notification Squad, 5 strong.
Exactly. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Just to go through it as quickly as I can, we're on Twitch. You're going to want to be on there. Sometimes we'll stream us playing Among Us and or Rocket League. You'll want to check out our Twitter handles. He's at Ashton_TwitWoW. His pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule for every month of recording. So obviously we're in February. The pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule for the month of February. And my pinned tweet is to receive Q&A questions. We do Q&A the last Thursday of every month. That should be February 25th. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Just making you guys know that. Non-Patreon owners get 3 Q&A questions. Patreon owners get up to 5 Q&A questions. And Q&A questions cost $1 on the TWitWoW Patreon. So donate if you want 2 additional questions. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord is where you can submit them. And again, my pinned tweet is to collect them. So you can submit them there. And they're just right there, ready to go. Also, for the Patreon Discord access, I mentioned $3 a month. And we do Among Us Mondays, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be doing that again this Monday. It might be a little late because, again, we're doing the AEW Japanese women's bracket for the tournament that they're doing. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time, but we're doing Among Us every Monday. It's going to be a really fun time. So, again, $3 a month to get in on that. And then, I think that's pretty good on that. And then I'll just say for the rest of the week and Monday, so I'll cover the next 3 days. Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day preview and predictions. Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day live reactions. Monday, 4 p.m., February 11th, 2021 Stardom Show live reactions. Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, AEW Japanese Women's Bracket tournament on YouTube live reactions. So yeah, that's our content for the next 3 days. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for the preview. We love you. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And until then, tune in, turn up, and peace out.